Happy Friday, everybody. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. We're going live from New York City. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox. Before I introduce my guests, we're going to talk about the message of the week. The message this week is there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. And sometimes there's a lot of them, especially with these buildings. Damn, the elevator goes out. You in like a 15-story building. You got to walk up with all your groceries and your kids.
Especially knee hurts. You know, we're getting old, man. Like,
you need some jujitsu. Come a little closer.
I do. Sorry about that. A little closer. All right, there we go.
There you go. Yeah. Nice. So I'm going to introduce my guest, John Busso, from Space Station Prospect.
That's right.
He is the newest member of the Windsor Terrace business community along Prospect Avenue, where myself have a few places. And we live in the neighborhood as well. Your wife is from the neighborhood. He's from the neighboring neighborhood.
The neighboring neighborhood, yeah. Neighborhood
full
adjacent.
of neighbors of Kensington, Brooklyn. And I chose that quote because in the promotions for the show, I kept saying, like, we're going to blast off. We're going to outer space. Yeah. Like,
you got to do the space puns, man.
Definitely the space puns, but also because your business is... How long have you been open for?
This is the month, like, tomorrow.
Yeah, so 4 weeks, brand new, right out of the gate, fresh, still like... I can smell it. You like a baby.
You can. You walk in there, it's like that new store smell.
No, boy, when you did the floors, everybody could smell it.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
But that's I love fresh build outs. So it's endearing to me as well.
Good.
But
hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. I kept saying like, oh, it's a blast off, it's a new business. It's like, but that's not really the case. It's kind of like the irony of the message of the week. It feels like a big step,
right?
But like there's no floor.
So
really,
you just start falling.
Yeah, well, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, whatever.
And then like
if you fall long enough, it's like flying.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like, and that's what the entry can feel like sometimes. And then 4 years later, you wake up and you're like, oh man, that was nothing compared to
what's happening to me now.
What's going on, or what has happened, what has transpired. Right. What the fuck? What happened?
Where is my life? Yeah.
So say hello to everybody.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's up? Say what's up to Bonnie Joy. She used to live in the neighborhood, and she now lives in Europe.
Thank you for joining us from overseas, Bonnie Joy.
Awesome. She's Juicebox All-Star.
Gotcha.
Just like really love the neighborhood, and I still see her on Facebook. So
that's awesome.
What up? Windsor Terrace.
Yeah.
And say
I think I know her. Yeah.
Say hi.
Hi.
Patty might join here.
What's
soon
up,
too.
Nor?
So
my lovely wife.
So Brooklyn natives. Your wife is from Windsor Terrace, from Lower Sherman.
Lower Sherman, yeah. You gotta make that distinction.
Well, they call it Windsor Terrace because there's a big hill and terrace, and Sherman expands a good portion of it.
It does, yeah.
Lower Sherman in the house. People have compared me or called me like the mayor of Windsor Terrace. Which
I've heard that.
I don't like political affiliations.
Okay,
I'm pretty apolitical, so I'm like, nah, forget about that. And then someone was like, said something. You're like. They said I was like the capo of Lower Prospect.
The capo.
I was like, yo, that could stick. Yeah. I could put that on a T-shirt.
You gotta be careful with that one though, man. But like, I'm Italian, so I understand where that goes.
I can handle you.
All right. Oh no, I'm not saying I'm coming at you. I'm just saying other people might, you never know. You never know.
I just like the idea of Lower Prospect.
Yeah,
I thought that sounded good.
Lower Prospect.
Yeah, because I've always like been at the bottom, so I'm cool with that. It leaves room. There's a lot of stairs that I could climb.
Started from the bottom. Now you're here, wherever this is now.
9th floor.
Yeah. Like halfway.
I took the elevator today. Not for nothing. My knees feel okay, but I just got to save my strength for kickboxing, for jiu-jitsu.
Right.
So you grew up in Kensington.
I grew up in Kensington,
in the yards of Kensington.
Yeah, right across the street from the greatest post office in Brooklyn.
Oh my God,
actually,
the one on McDonald
Avenue. Yeah, it's the worst.
That's like a black hole, man.
Yeah, you go in there, you come out like
never
10 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I know. You're going for like stamps, and like you came out like you.
Well, they put those like whatever 10 years ago. They put those machines in there, so you could just like.
They don't work. They don't work.
They did for a minute.
Yeah, you got lucky.
Then I discovered the one on 9th Ave, and I was like...
So much better. I know.
But if anytime I get a package like undeliverable or whatever, it always goes to McDonald's, and I'm like, don't make me do it. I really don't need it. I'm like, Mom, what was it? Nah, we're good. We're good.
No, that one's been bad, man.
And of course, I said Patty was going to join, and here she is. Oh, this is so cute, guys.
Everybody in the house.
Just keep the kids away.
Yeah, right.
It's like a date. We're double dating right now. This is so... terrible.
This is like parent. This is the best the parents can do.
This is what a double date is like
when
you're a parent and you own your own business.
Yeah.
It's all digital. So, all right. Anyways.
No, yeah, I grew up on McDonald Avenue, man.
Wow.
Like pretty much all my life. I started off in Bensonhurst. I grew up in, I was born in Bensonhurst. But
last name ends in a vowel. Makes sense.
Yeah. And,
now I know. Okay, now you got me scared.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I was like, I'm not worried about the Kensington mob.
Right.
Bensonhurst.
Little Bensonhurst.
You guys are good at baseball, right?
Good with baseball bats.
Exactly.
But, no.
Cool.
Yeah, so I grew up over there. I grew up on McDonald Avenue, and went to school in places that don't exist anymore.
Locally or
locally, yeah. I'm a Catholic school, born and raised.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Bishop Ford?
Yeah, Bishop Ford.
A bunch of preschools now.
I know. Before that, St. Catherine's of Alexandria on Fort Hamilton Parkway, which was recently just like completely knocked down.
Where was that at? Fort Hamilton and 34th, 36th. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
like right there. Yeah, I'm driving by there one day and like all the building's just gone.
Wow.
Yeah, just gone. Like, all right, okay.
Wow.
There it goes.
That happens. It's going to be another preschool.
Probably, right? Yeah.
Or like a 10-story preschool with like an acai bowl cafe and
co-ops, maybe something like that.
Well, that too. Yeah. Crazy. So what was it like growing up in that little nugget of Brooklyn?
Yeah, it was
quiet. Quiet now.
It's quiet now. Yeah. Different from the way it is now, but that's the way things change, man. I grew up very closed in with the community that I was with. We're very tight all the time.
Yeah.
We all had kind of stick together. I grew up mostly in my grandmother's house, and I stayed there for a lot of the time. We would, very loving little block there on Louisa Street.
I know Louisa.
Oh, you do?
Some beautiful houses right there, man.
Yeah,
really dope.
Yeah. So I was over there, and
that's great.
It was just like very, very nice growing up there. And we would like go away. Like I was just thinking, we're gonna get into like talking about like gaming and stuff.
Yeah.
Where I first like really started was going away with my grandmother to Atlantic City, and going to like they would go gamble, and I would go to like.
Are you giving us a hint of what's to come on Prospect Ave?
Yeah, I will. Maybe, you don't know. We never know where we're gonna go. But like, yeah, that's I would always go there and like to the arcades in Atlantic City and enjoy that kind of stuff, man. And
nice.
So
I got to give a shout out just real quick to Jill. What's up, Jill? Are your ears burning? We were literally talking about you just before the show started. Good to see
Jill.
you. Hello, Jill. It's Nashville lady.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
Got Nashville represented now too.
Nashville got hit, man. Nashville had a tornado rip through a portion of it and some severe damage like they probably never seen before. So hope everything is okay, Jill. Hope all your people are good.
Absolutely.
Hope Nashville is good.
Yeah.
It's tough. So after Bishop Ford, what did you do? Did you go to college?
I did go to college. I'm sure people that are entrusting their kids with me are happy to hear that I did go to college. I went to Binghamton University,
cool.
upstate New York. Yeah.
No, I went to SUNY Buffalo, and my wife went to University of Rochester.
Yeah, SUNY Buffalo.
We had friends all over the state.
You were just like buried under snow the entire time, basically, right?
Man.
Yeah.
Did you hear what happened up there? Just this town called Hamburg, just south of the city. It's right. So Buffalo is right on the Niagara River, but like right where it opens up into Lake Erie. So it often gets buffered from the craziness that happens like Syracuse and Rochester,
Gotcha, yeah.
and also just south of Buffalo because they're not right actually on the lake. It takes like a special like turn of the storm for it to nail Buffalo the right way. But like just south, man, the houses were encased in ice. And I don't mean like a little bit. I mean
completely
like
thick ice.
You could ice skate on top of the house.
Man.
So that was my dad sent me an article about that the same day I saw a thing about Nashville. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then it's like coronavirus here. And I'm like, everybody just calm down.
Yeah.
We gotta just calm down. My cities, man. What's happening with my cities?
Yeah, no.
So we know the upstate route very well, and I studied music. And at the time when I did my master's degree at Buffalo. I was just like touring the state, especially all the college towns, and like hitting up all these, like playing the local venues and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I was an English major, but I lived with the music guys.
Interesting.
Yeah,
English major.
I was an English major.
Okay, that didn't work out, so you ended up in Atlantic
City.
No,
I was an English teacher, man. I was an English teacher for a long time.
Yeah.
So I did the one thing that you probably could do with it. Really,
right?
Was become that English teacher, but. Yeah, I lived with a bunch of music guys. I lived like on the music floor. It was like the music module. So I had like all the guys who had bands. I was with.
That's great.
That was always fun.
Very
so
productive,
like,
right?
Oh yeah, big time productive. Yeah.
That incense smell.
It was wafting through the entire dorm. So yeah, I was like number one groupie for like all the college bands when they were there. Yeah, but they was like on me because I was like the loud guy from Brooklyn who was able to just like be up there like just screaming for them like no matter what. I remember one time at one of my buddies, he was like a heavy metal band, and they opened for They Might Be Giants one time, and
those guys.
which is like a real ridiculous juxtaposition between the two of them. Like, so he's like singing like death metal, and then like They Might Be Giants is coming on next, and all the people there are for They Might Be Giants, but like me and like a group of like 20 of the friends who were there for him are like moshing in the middle of like They Might Be Giants people. Like, and they're like, oh, what is happening right now? We're just like, let's go, man.
They need a taste. Got to bring that
Brooklyn
style.
Yeah, no,
bring that
course,
Brooklyn style with us.
Of course. Yeah.
What's up, Zoe? Do you know Zoe Kastner from PS 154? She either is or was PTA president. Get to know her.
Yeah.
She's a great lady.
Hi, Zoe. I would like to get to know you.
Her son would love your place, I'm sure. Yeah. He's a ripping guitar player. This kid he's the same age as Ada, so he's like 10, I guess.
That's cool.
And she's posted videos the other day, and dude's just like ripping
just going off.
guitars.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's so awesome. Yeah.
So you were just talking about metal.
Yeah.
So did you have to get you have a master's degree because you were a teacher?
I have like 3 master's degrees. It's just not. I mean, like it's like, oh yeah, that's great, but like,
do any of them have anything to do with gaming or digital
tech? Yeah,
oh,
no,
okay.
I got my tech degree.
I was like, wow,
well.
this guy's a career college kid.
Yeah, no, I was. I did a lot.
So
of
you're
school.
paying off all that student loans now. You thought you were going to open your own business and rake in all that cash,
right? Well, I figured, I'm paying off the student loans. I might as well just add the business stuff to it.
You should go back to Atlantic City,
right? And just start gambling away now. There, yeah.
So did you? Because my wife's a teacher as well, and your wife is also. What does your wife teach?
She's a speech therapist.
Speech therapist.
Yeah, so she's teacher adjacent.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Patty studied math and with no intention of really doing education. And then she became a New York teaching fellow several years later and got the education degree. Did you go for like an English education degree? Was that like your intention, or did you want to be a writer? Did you want to, what was your approach?
Yeah, I wanted to be a writer way back when. That was my thoughts. Was I would turn out to be like some sort of amazing writer, and that didn't work out the way I thought it would. But I started doing like other stuff. I used that to get myself into like website building and things like that.
Sure.
And it was like a lot of that same stuff, same applied. So it was good. And I still love to write every now and then. I've always said like my writing style is like my best friend, man, because it's always there for me. If ever I need it, I can just pull it out and I can start using it. And
music's been the same way for me.
Right.
So the degree that allowed you to teach, were you going to be? Did you just get a degree, the master's in education, or was it specific to
I got curriculum and instruction first. Then I got English, secondary English after that. And then I got tech coordination after that.
Yeah. All masters?
All masters.
Damn.
Yeah. Some of them were like overlapping, and I was able to put so it wasn't like I had to like.
And all from Binghamton, or
Pace.
Yeah. No, that's where Patty went. She got her master's from there, and like. 2007, something like that.
Yeah, no, Pace was good. I liked Pace.
Yeah, no, I used to hang out down there all the time.
Yeah.
I would meet her.
Yeah, it's nice little place. They have a lot of stuff over there now.
Well, now this was 15 years ago.
Right. 2007 was 15 years ago?
13 years ago, yeah.
13 years ago?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I did not study math. But yeah, well, she started there in 2005 or 2006. Something like that, nearly 15 years. But yeah, it was pretty empty then, which I loved, because we were always there in the evening because she was teaching during the day. Yeah. And she would go to school at night.
It was like Manhattan empty.
Yeah. Exactly. But like it's crazy to like walk around some of those parts in the evening because there's like everything is shut down. Yeah. It's like dark. I was like, oh man, this is great. Sometimes I would just get a beer and like walk around down there and wait for her to get out of class.
Right. That's really cool. Yeah.
Really loved it. Cool. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a few. Listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. All
right. You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, you're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. Happy Friday. We're here with my guest, John Busso, who just opened Space Station Prospect.
That would be me, yeah.
That would be that guy, the guy with the space station shirt on. He looks like he's from outer space a little bit.
I can't get the space station. There we go.
The camera,
yeah.
it's always flipped. So
Yeah,
I do the same thing. I'm like, hi. And I'm like,
Come
I go
on.
the wrong way.
Get
I'm
in
out
there.
of frame. I'm like, one day I'll get
I
this.
gotta advertise, man.
So one of the newest business along the Prospect Ave strip in Windsor Terrace, Brooklyn, where we reside.
That is
where
right.
Your wife grew up.
Yes,
where I've
yes.
been for a while and had some businesses. Actually, so his spot is adjacent, same landlord and building to my restaurant, Della, 1238 Prospect. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, please, because it works for me too.
I know.
So go for it.
I never. You get the chance at the end. So
Yeah,
they can
all
put
right,
two
all
and
right.
two together
Okay,
at the end.
all
If
right,
they can find your place,
But please
they can find
plug your
mine.
place because it just works for both of us. Yeah.
So it's a 4-unit building on Prospect Ave. We've been in Della for a little over 4 years, and it was a dry cleaners there.
Yeah.
Well, not even. It was like a
No.
drop-off spot.
Right, yeah.
For decades.
Yep.
And they left. I don't know. It's been about 2 years.
I think
now.
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And it was empty for a while. A few people, like one guy came through and was going to open up a coffee shop and started ripping a bunch of sheetrock and stuff out. Then he disappeared. Then it was going to be an animal shelter. And I was like, oh, God, no. Right next to a restaurant. It's going to be fucking terrible. It's going to smell like, old food and dog shit. And
That would not be a good
I was
combo right there.
Not pumped about that.
Yeah.
And then you guys just like slipped in. I didn't even hear about it. But,
Yeah.
So I ended up with a show on this network because I was interviewed on another show on the network, Rediscovering New York with Jeff. What's his last name? Goodman. Jeff Goodman. I can't believe I forgot that. And he does basically a virtual walking tour. He does a physical walking tour of neighborhoods throughout New York City. He's a Halstead real estate agent. But his show just is about different neighborhoods, and sometimes he'll do like cemeteries or bridges, but like spots in New York. And so last summer he was doing Windsor Terrace, and he contacted a lady that we both know, and she was like, I got a guy that really is involved in the community. So I came on the show, and he was talking to me about all the stuff I've got going on in Windsor Terrace, and he was like, what else? He's like, I get the feeling you would do something else there. There's some vacant storefronts. Like, what else does the neighborhood need? And I was like, man, you know what? The space next to Della is empty. I was like, you know what we really don't have that, like, I think is quintessential to every Brooklyn neighborhood is a tattoo parlor. He was like, oh, would you do? I was like, I don't know anything about tattoos. I was like, I like to get them, but I don't know anything about doing it. But I was like, it was funny because on the train on the way here for that show, I literally like left the restaurant and I just looked over at the spot and I was like, man, what's going to happen here?
Right.
And I was like, tattoo parlor. That would be great. I think I had just gotten one, so maybe it was like fresh in mind or something like that. But
right. Well, I mean, we could always still do it there. Like, it's fine. I'm always looking to bring in new ideas.
Let's teach the kids.
We'll teach the kids how to do tattoos. We'll make it like a video game sort of thing.
That was like, and so when you were like, oh, it's going to be games, I was like, damn.
Not a tattoo.
There's still the
parlor.
old Butterfunk spot though.
There is, yeah. Maybe that can do it.
I was
yeah.
talking to, do you know Mike O'Neill that owns Adirondack across the street?
Not really, no.
They've got a bunch of spots. He actually might
Yeah.
be on the show next week. He's going to
Cool.
come on soon. But we were talking about just the strip and what's vacant. And so right now it's just the old Butterfunk spot.
Right.
And he was like, we need a barbershop. And I was like, oh, that could be cool too. It's got to be a front for something else. But that's the only way it'll survive.
I always wanted to open up like a barber shop, like a bar next to a barber shop, and then you just like go like drink your beers and get your hair cut, and then
you
go
can
back
see where that could go.
It would go
south, though.
horribly bad.
It would be like some
it was
really
in my
bad
tw-
haircuts.
Listen, I had a lot of ideas in my
And then
20s,
then the barbers start drinking,
Right.
and someone gets cut, and it's like,
Or they give like these amazing new haircuts, and there you find like the newest trends come from these like completely whacked out barbers. You never know, man. You never know.
you first.
No. I don't have much up there to try. we could give it a shot.
Some
but
beard sculpting going on though.
Yeah.
Give me a little envy.
No.
Anyways, back to the regularly scheduled program.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So you got 3 master's degrees.
I did. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And you were a teacher for how long?
I was a teacher for like almost 20 years altogether.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you quit just before the
20-year
big payout.
No, because I wasn't in the DOE. I was in private school, so I got no
you got
payout.
nothing.
Yeah, no, they took from me, right? Like
Yeah.
every time I see like.
So where
my
did you
little-
teach at?
I taught at Bishop Ford for like the longest time. I did. Yeah. I went to high school at Bishop Ford, and then I went back and I taught
Wow.
there for like 12 years.
Last name ends in a vowel.
Yeah, that was.
It's funny. I haven't read about your family in the news yet.
Yeah. We use different names.
Yeah, right. Jimmy Fingers. So when did that close? 5 years ago?
Yeah, about 5 years ago now.
And they were just like, bye-bye. Thank you for everything.
I mean, I could get into it. I could
you don't
explain
have
it.
to.
I don't think I need to. It was conducting business at a loss, and the diocese figured out that they could make more money by renting out the space, so they did.
I hear you.
And then they fixed up that building really nice, which is such a
Well, I
shame.
think they had to. Now they were like,
Yeah.
oh, you want to bring like
Dude.
city kids in here,
Right.
like tax-paying city
Dude,
kids?
I will tell you this: when I taught there, I taught in on the 3rd floor, like tucked in the corner, and every time it like rained or snowed, I had like no ceiling.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like new ceiling tiles would fall down, and
The
I would just have like a
asbestos
big
was just
puddle.
like linking it,
Yeah.
like green ooze. Yeah. But that's
now it's completely fixed.
that's what makes you so strong.
Yeah, sure.
So, but your degrees would have certified you to teach. Public?
So I got certified in PACE.
Yeah.
I went back and I after Bishop Ford was like done, I was like, you know what, let me get certified and we'll go into the public schools. So I did that. I got certified and I went into the public schools for a little bit.
Okay. And you were like, oh, hell no.
No, I liked it, man. I worked at a place that was really nice, and all the kids, all administration, teachers, everybody was really good. But the problem is, you just, especially, I don't know how it is for people that like aren't in tech, but like if you know stuff about tech, you get like drawn into now dealing with all of the tech.
Right.
So like I was teaching like all of these different classes, and then I also
the administrators were like, hell.
Yeah. I was like
Yeah.
in charge of like all of the tech that was in the building as well, and it was just not fair for anybody. Like, it wasn't fair for the administrators. Wasn't fair for me.
Not getting compensated any extra.
Yeah,
for
no,
it
you're not really getting compensated. It was like I have my one little prep where I'm like
Yeah.
the tech coordinator, and that's just not. You couldn't do it. It was so
Right.
frustrating, like to have to watch.
It's a full-time gig.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do. So I was like, listen, I need to either be like tech coordinator or I need to be out. And they were like, yep, you're out.
So
We can't do it that way, which I totally appreciate too. Like they got their own rules and stipulations as to what they have to cover. They needed a teacher instead of a coordinator,
and that's why there's no elevators.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, good for you. And
yeah.
so that almost pushed you into a corner where you were like, you had to
Yeah.
make a decision.
Yeah, I went to another place and I worked there like kind of like behind the scenes, sort of like
Was it a school or just
another private school? Yeah,
Yeah.
And I worked like schedule building and running like their grading systems and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So I got to learn that, and then I started like building classrooms, building like labs and classrooms. I got to learn how that all works and stuff. So that was cool. And then I taught over the summer. But my program started to reach a point where like I started to realize that I needed to break away from what I was doing in the schools. I needed to kind of just go my own way and see what I could do with it. Especially I'd started to see that the direction that I had started going in 10 years ago seemed to become this. The way that things were going around the city.
Yeah,
you know, people were opening up these places that looked very similar to what I was doing in the classroom for so long. So I was like, you know, that's great. Like I should absolutely try to do that myself. And you know, every time I talk to people about it, they're like, yes, that's you. Knowing you, that is definitely what you should do.
Nice.
So that's what eventually I decided.
So
to do.
aside from the organized crime background of your family,
no. Again, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Did anybody else in your family, were there like small business owners that you like?
My grandfather owned a florist.
Cool.
Yeah, my grandfather owned a florist on Church Avenue, actually. It's a long time ago.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and then I have my cousin. For some reason, we have florists in my family. I'm not really sure what that.
Well,
you
gotta put some on the bodies.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. There's been some small businesses.
Getting to know you very well.
Yeah. You think.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Same for me. My grandfathers were both, you know, they own their own businesses. Yeah. My parents never did, but I at least got to see that.
Yeah. My father came close a couple of times too, so it was good for me to be able to do this.
No, that's great. No, it sounds like you had a really, you know, an interesting but productive like self-awareness journey through all that, and got good feedback from people.
Wow, you just made me feel really good about myself. Thank you.
I was just trying to protect myself, honestly. Right. I'm just gonna kill you with kindness for the rest of the show, so I make it out of the room.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. You totally can.
What's up, Mauricio? That's another guy.
Hello there.
He changed at the dojo.
Yeah.
Two amazing sons. I don't know if they're into games or not. They're really good at martial arts. So
right.
they might.
You should play games too, kids.
Check it out. Well, they're like one. His youngest is a freshman at college.
Oh, okay.
And the other one's a few years older. But they teach there. They're amazing. These guys with a bow staff. They're fantastic.
Right, yeah.
So, get some like martial arts simulators in there.
My cousin actually owned a business. He was a Sifu, Wing Chun Kung Fu.
Really?
Yeah. For a very
in Brooklyn?
long time. Manhattan and Brooklyn. Yeah, he was all over the place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that going as well. Yeah, I took his class a couple of times. So,
cool.
But
you were like, we just use guns. So what was the transition like from like realizing I don't want to do this anymore? I got this other thing. People are like, yes, you should do this thing. It's kind of hot right now. Stuff like this is springing up all over Brooklyn. What was the transition like? Did you work a little bit still and start to get the thing going? Or were you just like, peace, I'm out of here, Jerry Maguire style, and ate canned beans for like 3 months?
It was kind of Jerry Maguire style.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. I like that.
Just like out.
See, I do the rocket ship emoji. It was serendipity. It had
right.
I could feel it. I was like, this dude, there's something about him.
Off out.
You were just like, peace. And then you hit the ground, and you were like, shit.
I haven't hit the ground yet. I'm falling. Okay, so I'm falling, but, it's falling so far, you feel like you're flying.
It's like Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Free fall.
Exactly. Right. Out into nowhere.
Yeah. Awesome. So how long before, what was the timeline like from I'm out of my job to getting the doors open?
About 6 months to a year. Yeah, it wasn't like crazy long, but like in terms of it, like once I found the place and we moved into it, it was like, that's it, we're doing it.
And you were already living in Windsor Terrace.
Yeah, I was already living in Windsor Terrace. Yeah, I was already over there. So I watched Windsor Terrace, especially Prospect Avenue. Man, what's amazing, like growing up in the area, I watched that place. I always tell people, like, I remember when it was just like the dry cleaner and a Domino's pizzeria and like the video rental, and that was like it, and then like to watch it slowly develop the way that it had was really cool. And then like you see like there's these restaurants and then there's the dojo and there's that, and I'm like, you know what? The thing that I'm thinking of would be perfect there too.
Absolutely.
Like, why don't I give it a shot and see what happens?
To be honest, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, good.
If it was a bar,
right.
If it was a restaurant,
right. Yeah,
if it was a wine store or martial arts school,
right.
it'd be trouble.
None of those things. Yeah.
No,
we didn't need a deli. We didn't need any of that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And tapping into like what the neighborhood is about, which is definitely like there's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
There's tons of kids. We'll get a little further into what you actually offer, but it definitely surrounds that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it seemed to me like a perfect fit.
Yeah,
I
agree.
The fact that it's like a walking distance from my house doesn't hurt either. I got spoiled by Bishop Ford. I worked at Bishop Ford, and that was just.
Dude, I'm just saying. The last time I took the train for work was like 2008.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No, when I worked the public school job, I took the train, and that was like it was only like to Bergen Street, and I was like, oh man, come on, I gotta do this again.
I hear you. Well, now I do it once a week, and I don't mind this.
Yeah.
It's like nostalgic, and I get to read again. I'm like, books. Got refamiliarized with books.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool. Yeah, books. Right.
They're great. They're great. All right, we're gonna take another short break, everybody. We'll be back in just a few.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network, at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
Do you love or are you intrigued about New York City and its neighborhoods? I'm Jeff Goodman, host of Rediscovering New York, a weekly show that showcases New York's history and its extraordinary neighborhoods. Every Tuesday live at 7 p.m., we focus on a particular neighborhood and explore its history, its vibe, its feel, and its energy. Tune in live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on talkradio.nyc.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio, big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Windsor Terrace in the house.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, you're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox, here with my guest, John Busso from Space Station Prospect, a brand new business, piping hot, fresh out the oven. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay.
We talked a lot about you.
Right.
Enough about you now. Okay, I don't want to hear any more about you. No, I'm kidding.
What? Wow. Hurtful, dude.
Yeah, I know. I lied earlier.
Yeah, I know, man. Way to pull a 180 on me.
Go ahead.
All right, yeah, no, I should probably talk about the business, right?
What do you do there? What do you offer?
All right, so at Space Station Prospect, we offer everything you can think of. No, we are a game-based learning space, is what I like to say.
I usually don't keep it PG, so don't. You open the door, man. I'm gonna
I know, I did, didn't I?
Well, happy ending. You want a towel?
Whatever you want, man. You know, listen, as a business owner, I have to be flexible. Right. You know, I have to give the people what they want.
You're gonna run a poker game out of the back room. I know you are.
I
saw how you sealed that back off. I was
go
on back there.
No gambling can take place on the premises because I do not have the ability to do so.
And that is my public statement.
Is this is live, right? Okay, good. We are a game-based learning space, man. I drew on my years of experience in the school system and the program that I had developed over the years where, as I said, I started off as an English teacher, but when I was teaching English, I always had this kind of love for gaming, and I connected with a lot of the kids from that level. And one day, I brought in my Xbox, and I put on this game called Alan Wake, which is about the main character is a writer, and he's struggling with the things that he's like the physical projections of the things that he's
really getting
written.
Close to home, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it worked. And
was he drinking? And
right. His weapons were like throwing empty whiskey bottles and stuff like that. No, he was dealing with his own demons, but they were like projections on the screen that you had to shoot because it was a video game. And the kids immediately, the points that I had been trying to make before that, that was completely over their head. I think we were doing Steinbeck, and we were looking at why Steinbeck wrote what he did and what he was doing, where they just could not connect to it and didn't want anything to do with it. I played this game for them for a little while, and all of a sudden it was that was it. It was doors opened, man, and once that opened, I knew that I didn't want to close it up anymore, and slowly but surely, I made gaming the central part of my class. Even when it was an English class, I still found ways to make it, whatever we were reading, we connected with this game, that game, and the other thing.
And how long after that did Bishop Ford close?
And then Bishop Ford closed like 6 months later, but that was completely unrelated to what I was doing. They really they connected with it in a way that I had never seen before, and I knew that there was something powerful here, that we could do something
Absolutely.
with this. So that's what I did. Bishop Ford closed, a few years after I had really started to start doing that in the classroom. So I knew I wanted to move on into tech because I'd seen how tech was just kind of neglected in the schools, and I knew that I could bring some fresh ideas to how tech was used. So I went and got my tech degree and all that. From there, the program really grew, and I started to create this room where I began to look at myself not as like a facilitator, but like as a curator of content. Here is all this stuff, here is all of this stuff that I can show you that exists, that connects with all of these other things that we've been doing or that you might know. Go and find it and see what you like about it. And then as they would, I could just kind of walk up and be like, hey, you like this? Well, it connects to this and this and this. And then like, oh, why don't you check out this also? Like, well, just keep pushing them in this
like
more.
Connecting the dots, especially with like what you were trying educationally to get across.
Exactly. And kind of build up their play or their interactions in a more scholarly level. And that's what I was like all about doing.
That's really awesome.
It was really, and it seemed to be so cool for them. And it connected more with like the way that education was going. Like, you needed to have this kind of, everybody's talking about like unstructured play and unstructured activities, well, when you create a room like this where there's all these different things and you're not directing them to where to go, it becomes unstructured and they will interact. I would always have like full 100% engagement in everything that I was doing because there was just so much fun stuff for them to interact with.
Video games.
Yeah, well, but it wasn't just video games, board games, like
I understand.
all sorts of different things. I started with the video games and that's like one of my passions, but like I love board games and all like other blended type of tech games, like
blackjack.
Dude, I'll play you with spades right now.
I know.
Well, you get 4 players. We'll play some spades.
My wife totally. Me, I don't.
Stratomatic baseball. Like I've played it all, man.
Jiu-jitsu, I'm down with. Human chess, I love it. The rest of it. So it's great. So you kind of had like a little incubator to practice these.
I did.
Where you were making money, you were paying your bills, but you were like,
I was like private school salary, so making money is relative.
Okay, right. You were paying some bills. Like, I could pay electric this month.
Right.
But you got a chance to kind of vet some of these ideas and test them out, and you were doing it in a similar environment to what you imagined your space to look like.
Exactly. And from building really classrooms and stuff, I got a good idea of like how a space would look. And I've always I can walk into a room and be like, okay, I would set it up this way. And this would achieve like all my goals of learning. That's really cool too, to be able to do that. So to then go off in my own space and make it the way that I wanted was a really cool thing to be able to do. And to see it all come together the way that
but
it
you
has.
had that vision first.
Well, the vision came over years and years of dealing with putting it together. It's not, it wasn't one thing that just kind of right there. It just came to me. It was more like a development of time.
It always is.
And
then it'll morph more.
Oh, of course, I'm sure.
And
the ideas beget ideas, right? So like you have some things and you see those things work, and then you're like, oh well, maybe I should try this and do this and then do that, and you gotta like almost slow yourself down. In terms of that.
Well, you said some interesting things because you were talking about how you connected with the kids, and then all of a sudden it was like you were able to slip in. Like the real content you were supposed to, like the thing you were being paid to like. Right. That kind of knowledge you were trying to transfer. But you found a medium of communication. And even though they're kids, they're still like, that's your audience. That's your target, customer, whatever you want to call it. But that's like fundamental to successful business is like understanding the mode of communication and then figuring out what resonates with your crew, with your people, because it's not going to be every,body. That's ridiculous.
Of course,
I'm
going
to market to everybody. You find your niche, and then you like communicate on that level. So you tested the first round and got the doors open.
I did,
but now we're open.
I know.
What's next?
I remember I heard you saying earlier about something about like growing organically. And I think that's such a good term because that's I think the way the good growth occurs.
Definitely.
Because if you can have your structure and you can have your feelings of like, this is where I want to go, and I know every single point along the way how I'm going to get there. But you can't predict all that stuff. You need to be able to watch stuff happen, and react to it, and then move forward that way. And that's something that I've always thought that I've been good at doing. Is I like to see things. I like to see how things develop, and then take that and use it to my advantage to give even more. And that's kind of one of the things that I've looked for here. Because I have my ideas of where I want it to go. And we started off small with just kind of an unstructured environment, like I said, where I'm kind of the curator of content, and I can help push people up, push kids up into understanding more and more good things about design concepts and stuff like that, and then see what they're interested in by talking to them, and then offer that stuff up to them as well.
Right.
You're
going to have to be hands-on and involved for a while, and I do think organic growth. I think organic growth yields the strongest relationships. I don't think it should be exclusive to organic growth. You have to, you kind of have to feed the alligators somehow, and if it's all organic, that gets the pool is pretty shallow.
Sure.
But I do think using that as like the core of building really strong, long-lasting relationships and being able to test, and that'll be the center, like the focal point of what you're talking about, getting that feedback. Is really important, but and we could talk about it more in the last portion, more widespread reach and not being completely organic, because I started that way. And it's interesting what I've noticed, because I've been running spots on Prospect Ave since 2007, and especially before the social media explosion.
And what nice spots they are.
Oh, thank you. You're supposed to say, I love the duck wings 3 times, remember? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, do I still get paid? Am I still getting paid?
No. If I don't get paid, you don't get paid. That's how
man.
I thought you were in the family.
Right.
Back up to like 2015, you could pretty much operate on just exclusive organic growth and reach, because that's all there really was, and there weren't the distractions, but that was just the way that information got spread. Now, the world is your competition. It's like you can't, again, I think the most valuable relationships and feedback come from that organic pocket, but you have to have like the cargo pants.
Of course,
and pull from like some other places. Just, you gotta poke and prod and see like, is this going to bite back? Right. Is it going to hurt when it bites back? Is it going to be friendly?
Do I feed the bear?
Yeah. Is it dead or is it alive? So what are some of the other things that you've discovered just being, a month old that you were like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Wasn't expecting that.
I mean, I didn't even know what to expect, so I don't know if there are some things that have come that have been unexpected, because I've kept a complete open mind to, hey, what's going to happen?
That's a pretty good approach.
I mean, dude, you got to live your life like that.
Well, I start every day expecting the worst.
Yeah.
The absolute worst is going to happen today, and if it doesn't,
you're not Italian, because that's definitely an Italian thing. You expect the worst.
I'm adopted Italian.
Right. Okay.
I got my start in Italian restaurants when I was like 17 years old.
Okay.
All like, Jersey and New York, and some native Italians. And just along the way, everywhere, like when I was in Buffalo, it was the same thing. And, that's why we're making the fresh pasta.
I see.
Someone asked me the other day what was my favorite movie quote, and I said, they keep pulling me back in. Like, that's how it is. I tried to get away from restaurants for so long, and it's just so ironic that I ended up opening an Italian restaurant as an Irish mutt. Anyways, that pasta's good though. Yeah. I make a good sauce.
It's a spicy meatball.
It is.
No, now you got me doing. Honestly, I'm going to be in trouble now.
Yeah,
I can't.
I
can't be doing that.
We'll take them.
I can't be doing that.
We'll draw the line in the sand.
I'm told.
He said, "No. This is broadcast, man.
I know.
The cat's out of the bag. You're done, man. You're done.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it was nice. Well,
it was nice knowing you, everybody. Maybe I'll get that tattoo parlor after all. And I know where to get some flowers.
Hey.
All right. We're going to take another short break. We're going to get serious. We'll be back in a few years.
I don't know
The
how.
Entrepreneurial Web.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, you're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. What's up with this serious face? I was kidding. We don't have to be serious.
Sorry.
I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox, here with my guest, John Busso,
Again, that's me.
the spicy meatball of Windsor Terrace.
Please, no. That's
So, John here, open Space Station Prospect. We'll call it a gaming. What do we? What do you?
game-based learning space is what I...
Game-based learning space.
yeah.
I've not. So I was telling people that people are like, "Oh, what is it? What's coming?" And I'm like, "It's a game. It's a game. What did I call it?
Something...
A game spot. Something.
Yeah.
A game lab. Game something. I can't remember." And someone was like, "You mean like an arcade?" And I was like, "No, asshole. They don't make those anymore. You old fuck." They got the one in Coney Island, and that's like it.
Right.
Which that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Arcades. That's the only
That's,
thing
yeah,
I
that's
knew
like
of.
that's
and
what I said. In Atlantic City, I would go to the arcades
Yeah,
all the time.
loved
man.
it.
You know, I like to look at my space as like a educational arcade sort of thing. That's
yeah.
the way I like to look at it. In some ways,
And it's a little different, like coming in, like going in to pick my kids up. Get the hell out of here. We got to go.
Yeah.
It's definitely laid out a little differently than I thought. So why don't you get detailed about what your space offers people?
So we have a lot of different types of content, and I created a very modular type of space so that we can kind of change things up as things go. So usually we use the front for our tables, and we have all sorts of board games and card-based games, and then we also do like what I call blended games, where you have something that's physical, and then you have something that's on like an iPad or a tablet too that you interact with, and then in the back we have some big screens with some video game content and computers and things like that. What
were the wheels?
Yeah. So I have this thing called the Ring Fit, which is cool. It's a Switch thing where you like exercise using this like big wheel, and there's like all these different mini games that you can play as well. But they have like a whole RPG that you can run through where it's like exercise, but you're.
Do you have the dance-off thing? With
I'm thinking about it, yeah, because that's always been a big hit.
I might come in for that.
Yeah, the Just Dance type of stuff, man. That's always been a big hit. So yeah, I like.
You guys need like a little TikTok center in the back.
Yeah. I like things that create like physical interactions or physical movement.
I think that's. You're going to get a lot more parent involvement.
Yeah.
If they're like, wait, Johnny gets to run around.
Yeah,
too?
no, that's something that I really wanted to develop as well. That's why we're working on the backyard space too, to make sure that we have a nice outdoors. And
good luck with that.
We'll do it. We're going to get there.
That alone.
We turned the dry cleaner into what it is now, didn't we?
Yeah, but like that yard.
Yeah, I know.
That'll be a workout all in
I've
its
seen
own.
it. Yeah,
I've done it. You're going to find Jimmy Hoffa's body back there.
Hey, maybe.
But your family probably put it back there anyways.
No, it was De Niro. It was D.H. De Niro that did it.
D.H. De Niro.
D.H. right? CGI D.H. De Niro. So yeah, we have an kind of space for it all, right? So we have our physical stuff up the front, and then we have the digital stuff in the back. And I think it's really important to have this combination of the two. And then once we have the backyard, we can have this outdoor space as well, so that we add another element to it. So that we're gaming, but we're gaming in all sorts of different ways, and it's not just screen time, which is one of the things that I'm really I don't want to shy away from it completely, because I think that there's a lot of
it's
value.
Not going away.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of value in it, and I especially feel like from my years of experience in teaching, one of the things I can do is help kids to maximize that time, and find value in that time, because a lot of the time, what are the kids doing? They're playing like Fortnite and they're not getting anything. They're getting some stuff out of that. I could argue that they are getting things out of that, but they're not getting what they could be getting out of.
Do you guys
those
do
sorts
Fortnite?
of things. No, we stay away from the first-person shooters,
Cool.
man. I
All
do
right.
not believe in the first-person shooters
Nice.
for that. We stay away from all
I
that type of
appreciate
content.
that. Yeah.
No, I as a parent, and as an instructor, like that's something that I understand. And there's so much more out there besides that stuff. You know, even though like a game like Fortnite is like a social construct in a lot of ways. It creates this kind of socialization area for people. But there's other places like that too. There's other digital.
So do you all
like
have
that
that like the socially connected gaming? I'm completely fucking ignorant to
yeah,
this.
that's I don't even know.
Where the kids like talk to each other and they're playing somebody across the planet. Like you guys do
no,
that?
I try to stay away from like
What do
the
they call
online.
that? I don't know. Any of this.
Massive multiplayer maybe is what you're talking about.
I'm brick and mortar. I'm like analog. I'm in the street. I wear shoes.
Yeah.
And move a lot.
Yeah.
If they put one of those little bracelets on my leg that marked like how far I went in a day, it would be like I never leave a 2-block radius, but I walk like 15 miles.
Gotcha.
So,
I don't know any of this
stuff.
That's okay.
Yeah. What do they call it? Where the kids like they got the headsets and they're locked up in their
they're
room?
online playing. They're massive multiplayer online playing. That's cool, and that's something that kids can get at home on their own.
So
that's not something that they need to do in my place. In my place, they should be interacting with each other.
Yep.
And that's one of the big, one of the problems with gaming, where everybody's kind of gaming in their own spaces by themselves, means that even though they're interacting with people that might be on different sides of the planet, which is really cool too, because you learn a lot of things about stuff. They're not getting those direct social interactions that are so important for us.
That's mad creepy.
Yeah, it is, dude. It is. So I really think that it's important for them to be able to interact with each other socially while they're playing these games. So I always look for content that incorporates multiplayer together, and not like I try to stay away from the competitive stuff too, because I don't competitive stuff too. It's great, but cooperative for what I'm trying to do is so much better, and that is what really is going to develop relationships that are meaningful, rather than the competitive. I'm going to beat you. No, I'm going to beat you.
Like I win only.
Exactly, but if you're working together to overcome whatever obstacle you have to overcome, you're gaining stuff out of that. Not just the game that you're playing itself, but in the interactions that you have with your fellow gamers. And you learn how to play roles. You learn where you need to be at certain times, or how you have to communicate with people to get them to do the things that they need to do as well. You have to deal with the fact that they might want to do something that you think might not be good for the group. There's all these different good interactions.
So like team building in a way.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like
absolutely.
Future CEOs, man.
Yeah. Oh,
awesome.
man. Yeah. No,
really
you can
dope.
really find it. You can find that stuff there. It's important, I think, for them to get that interaction. And one of the great things about interacting when you're gaming is you're not forced into this like one-on-one. Here we are interacting. Like now I have to look at you and you have to look at me and we have to talk about this serious thing. And that's hard for us as adults. For kids, it's like absolutely petrifying, right? At a lot of times. But if they're gaming
or
together,
the opposite,
or maybe they're just like
straight
whatever.
up and
Yeah,
they're like, I don't care.
Yeah. It's different strokes.
Because my kids look at me and say the damnest things, and I'm like, "You're not threatened
Really?
by me at all."
I'm way bigger than you.
I don't care.
But like it's that being able to game while they're doing it allows them to put that maybe nervous focus onto the game rather than each other, and then whatever they're talking about and however they have to interact occurs again, back to organically, occurs organically, and they're able to kind of develop things that way. So that I love watching that happen.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I think it's great. Very, very interesting to me over the years to see that happen. And like even when I was in the classroom and I would have all these different kids from all sorts of different places who would never interact with each other, never talk to one another.
Now they're working together.
Now they work together, right? Because they have a game in common that they like, and they have to work together in order to be good at it. You know, that's fantastic. Like to have that happen.
Totally
So I like to foster that sort of thing. And there's so much value that comes with it. You know, and then if I can take that and I can move that into that excitement and that engagement into, well, now we're going to start creating our own content and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Then I know I've arrived and I've done what I wanted to do. So that's where I'm hoping to get to.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are the hours and like programs?
So
just a few minutes left. I
sure.
want you to get your
No,
plug in.
I told you this was going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
He's
sweating.
I'm sweating. I'm okay.
Hours of operation and specific programs.
So we
you
open
have like
up
2 minutes.
Right. Okay. We open up from. I open up at like 2:00, but we usually have the kids come in like around 3. We allow them in, after school, and we stay open for the after school program from 3 to 7. Right now, it's just we're drop off base, so they can come in and they can game, and we're small, so I'm always there. I can help them to find what they like and help them to game and even play with them and all sorts of different things and really help them with that structure. We started our first program, which is a Magic the Gathering card game program, where I have a very interested young man who's teaching the kids how to play that while I facilitate in the background, because I think that that's also important, that I get myself removed from it so that the kids are interacting with each other. We're going to be introducing a D&D program on Saturdays. I have a very awesome DM who's coming in to do things. He's another neighborhood guy. And we'll hopefully be doing that Saturdays from 1 to 4. And then we are going to, if that goes well, we'll have some other sessions during the week as well. I'm going to be starting my own game design program soon after that, probably after the April break. We also have our April camp, which is... I'll be running that, and I'll be helping the kids to game physically
and some summertime stuff.
We'll be open all summer long. We have the activities there, and then we have we just started memberships. For 30-day membership for
30 month.
30 months. Wow, yeah. Well, I gotta.
Like I said, he's brand new.
Yeah,
we're
here for now. 30-day membership.
Website address.
spacestationprospect.com. All of the information is on there. You can sign up for whatever you want. If you're an adult gamer and you want to come in and game, we do after hours. You just have to reserve some time. You can come in and play anytime.
And there's a really
want.
good bar next door.
Yeah, you go to the bar next door, get yourself a couple of beers, and then you come over and play with us, and then go back to the bar. Man, that's what it's all about.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
awesome.
And parties, whatever you. The space is there to give people a good time.
Right.
So
community served, community oriented.
I am here to let people in and do their thing. So go on the website and reserve some time and enjoy.
That's it. All right, everybody, we're going to blast off. Have an awesome weekend. Hope you get a blast off, too. You listen to Entrepreneurial Web. Peace.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com.
Talking Alternative. Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Do you love or are you intrigued about New York City and its neighborhoods? I'm Jeff Goodman, host of Rediscovering New York, a weekly show that showcases New York's history and its extraordinary neighborhoods. Every Tuesday live at 7 p.m., we focus on a particular neighborhood and explore its history, its vibe, its feel, and its energy. Tune in live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.